That firm offer you're putting in, is it really firm or is it pretend firm? Allow me to explain. There's been a propensity in recent years when submitting offers that homes have gotten very competitive. The really popular, really nice homes, and especially when the markets in the GTA get really seller focused, what can happen is buyers will start eliminating conditions in their offer so they can put in a clean or a firm offer. And so removing the finance condition is one of those ways to make your offer a little bit stronger. But the reality for most people out there, they're still going to have a mortgage on the other side. So how are you structuring that in the deal? It's one thing to not include that clause for financing or stroking it out completely. But I've actually had this happen one time, and this is why I structure it like this now. If you put in a firm offer, but then before closing, you are going to do a mortgage and your bank wants to do an appraisal of that property, well, guess what? You need to claw up in that offer to make allowance for that. Because I've actually had a seller one point in the last few years where they've said, well, no, I'm not letting you in. That wasn't in the contract. You gave me a firm offer, and that's firm money, which means you don't need an appraisal. And so I've actually had that happen where a seller would be, nope, I'm not letting you in for that appraisal. Now, at the end of the day, did the deal get done? Yes. Did it require a lot of jumping through hoops and hurdles and explaining? Yes, it did. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure that if you're doing those kind of offers, that you have a backup clause in there saying that the seller is willing to and gives you permission to actually have your bank go in and do a proper appraisal prior to closing. Because if not, you can certainly get caught where a seller will not let you in. Now, at the end of the day, if the seller wants their house to close, it's definitely in their best interest to allow you in. But I'm telling you, there's some switch, and it happens with every single seller I have ever worked with. They do everything they can. They're so amenable. They want to work with the buyers. They want to work with the agents to get their home sold. But once it sells, fuck. I can't tell you how many times they grow this massive attitude. What do you mean they want an extra visit? What do you mean they need an hour and a half visit instead of an hour, or they need an hour instead of a half an hour? Oh, it's amazing how it flips in their mind. It happens every single time without exception. I have never had it. Once the sellers tend to, there's a switch that flips. It's really interesting. So make sure that if you're putting in a firm offer, that you have a clause in there saying that you will be able to have your bank go in and do an appraisal.